Okay. Well, thank you guys for coming to Reiki Seminar. What is it? It is January 30th, 2026. And we are here tonight to go over Reiki principles and living them and going over distance treatment techniques and practices. So that's what we're going to focus on tonight. But first, we're going to build our space and open our space up, which is a part of our spiritual discipline practice. And that spiritual discipline practice is a part of the four elements that we'll be talking about tonight when we're going over um, how we live the life of Reiki. So, to build our space, we're going to purify our physical space and then purify the inside of our auras. So, I like to do that when I'm online all the time. And I just use Shokure, but you can use any of the symbols that you want to. Seiheki is a really good symbol for clearing spaces too. And so I use Seiheki on my house once a month at least. And so we can use Seiheki as well. So you get to choose what symbol you've got that you want to put in your hands. So just imagine it there or stamp it in, draw it in, and let's just breathe and take a moment to sink into the practice and calm the nervous system so that we can effectively open space for ourselves and our group. And I've drawn Shokure in my hands. I'm going to draw Seiheki in my hands as well. And ask that the light of Reiki flow into me and through me to purify this space. And I ask to be a hollow channel for this energy to flow through. And as it flows through me, may it heal me and replenish my own energy in real time. So now, just to clear the space, I'm going to first clear the inside of my auric field. And so I want you guys to do that too. And so you can kind of feel it in layers when you're running your hand up and down, and you've got to get like up here. And if you go slow enough and you practice enough, your hands will start to heat up. And you may even find spots that are hotter than others. That can be tied to a chakra imbalance, or it could be tied to an actual, like some damage in the auric field too, because both things can happen for various reasons. So just stand up in your space. And if you want to, maybe close your eyes because your auric field goes all the way around you. You know, it goes down into the floor. It's much larger than we are. And so we want to make sure that we're spreading the energy of this symbol all the way around into our space. And you can even get the front of your body too. And so once you've done that, then we can start to apply the symbols and the energy to the walls in the room that you're in. And this, practiced done consistently, will change the energy of your home. And so that's a benefit of doing Reiki Seminar online tonight, is that you get to practice in your own home and have this benefit, you know, just like keep spreading itself. So I like to draw the symbols in the air, and then I just kind of push them into the wall. So that's how I do it. You can do it any way you want to. You can put them in your hands and imagine that the energy is floating into the wall. Remember that even though this is Reiki, it's still energy work. And there's no fine line between what we imagine and between what our energy body experiences. So let's go ahead and do this to the room. So we're going to do all four walls, and then we'll do the ceiling and the floor. And so I'm going to walk you through the north, east, east, south, and west. And it would be a good idea to also treat the corners of your room, because there's a lot of stuff that gets held in the corners of our rooms. So let's go ahead and just draw a shokare on all four walls, on the north wall, the east wall, the south wall, and the west wall. And then I'm going to treat that northwest corner. I'm going to treat that northeast corner. I'm going to treat that southeast corner and that southwest corner. And then I'm going to treat my ceiling and I'm going to treat my floor. And while I'm doing this, I'm imagining and seeing this energy spread out just like a light. And when I see it, it is a light white blue light. You may see something different, but I'm watching that light coat my room like it's a container around me, a container of frequency and vibration that protects and heals. And so we can do that with any space that we're in. And that is the physical practice of cleansing the space that you're in, but there's also a spiritual practice to this too. So here in Reiki Seminar, we are going to call in the Reiki Masters of old. We're going to call in Drs. Yusui, Yamaguchi, Hayashi, Takata, Furumoto to enter into the space with us as we pay homage to the practice of Reiki and as we seek guidance in our own practice, in our own lives, and how to apply the life of Reiki into our daily situations and into our words and thoughts and actions. And we open this circle and Reiki space in the light. So it is. Okay, so I want you guys to do a check-in for me. How have you guys been?
Good, how have you been?
Been doing good. Have you guys been practicing your Reiki on a regular basis?
Yes.
All right. All right. Darby, what about you? Uh-oh, I can't hear you. I sent you a button.
Okay.
There we go.
All right. And are you seeing? Oh my gosh. Oh well. I sorry about that. I'm here. How am I doing?
Yes.
I I've been doing up and down. I feel a bit of overwhelm right now, and that's okay. I know why I'm feeling that, and I shouldn't be, and I am. But I on a whole nother flip side, I have been doing a lot of, or not a lot, several Reiki virtual sessions, and they've gone. I don't want to pat myself on the back, but I will.
You
They've
should. Yeah.
they've gone extremely well,
Good for you. Very
uh,
good.
and I mean they've gone so well that they've contacted other people who have already contacted me to make a point to set appointments. So
Oh, that's so cool.
yeah, yeah. So that's exciting.
Yes, that is. Well, congratulations on that. And yeah, you should pat yourself on the back. So it sounds like you are practicing. So how is self-practice going? I'll ask that next because tonight we're going to dive into spiritual discipline and our relationship to self and how we're treating ourselves is a huge part of that. So how about are you guys doing any Reiki on yourselves lately?
Yeah. Yes, every day.
Oh, good for you. I'm not as good as that, but I do other things. So I go back and forth. Darby, how about you?
I Same. I go back and forth. I am this ache in my back, which is from the overwhelm. I need to. Do you hear that? Is that
No,
happening when I talk?
it's only
No.
on your end.
Okay. Okay. I need to do more on my own, on myself than I am. I'm doing other modalities, but not, I need to do the Reiki more for the practice as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'm putting in the chat some things that will help with overwhelm. So sending Reiki to a past event, if you can identify one of the first or the first event of being overwhelmed in the way that you feel overwhelmed now, you can send Reiki to that past event, and that will ease up some of the tension now. And you can also treat the head and the heart together. So I put that in the chat. That when
Um,
I've when you hook up those two brains, the head and the heart, that really helps with overwhelm. And it helps the thought trains slow down so that you're not speeding up so quickly with your thoughts. So they don't become a runaway train.
okay. I apologize. I kind of blanked out there. Let me see if I can find the message board. I don't see.
Are you on your phone or a computer? I think both of them, they're down at the bottom. It'll say like a little chat. It'll say chat. But we'll also, I'll be able to record the comment section, and so I can send it to you afterwards too. Okay. So, yeah, I'll use that comment section as like notes, and then we'll have some notes. So, the four elements of Reiki, I brought this up because I've really been reflecting a lot on how we actually practice the practice on a on a momentary basis. You know, if we want to get to the point where I hate to say it like this because this really minimizes it, but when we get to the point where things don't bother us so much, then we can move through life so much easier and we can make decisions that will help us move through life even further in an easier way. And so it has this ripple effect and this exponential incremental effect in everything that we touch and all of the people that are connected to us, all of the systems that we engage in, and all of the decisions that we make. So the four elements of Reiki, I wanted to start there. So each month we're going to work on just one of them, like we'll hit really hard on one of them, but they exist in a wheel, just like the wheel that we open at the beginning of class when we're opening up the four gates of the directions. They work together and they all intertwine with each other. And as each one of these elements within us strengthens by itself, it strengthens the rest of the wheel too, because of the way that they interact. So there's spiritual discipline, sacred order, personal development, and healing practice. And tonight we're going to work on spiritual discipline. The healing practice is literally the daily practice that you do. The sacred order is how you engage in learning and sharing and the reciprocity of the community. And then personal development is really a huge umbrella. However, I think that when it comes to Reiki, personal development blooms because of Reiki. And it turns into so many other things other than just Reiki because it starts to impact all areas of your life. Like, how you do the littlest things, even how you receive messages when people are talking to you, all those little minute things. That is the blessing of the personal development that Reiki takes us through. So, spiritual discipline, um, this list by no means is the end all of spiritual discipline. This is how I organized it tonight because this is how we work on our spiritual discipline and sacred rhythms. We think about the relationship to self, to others, to the environment, including the planet, and then the relationship to source. Oh, I got a typo. And all of these four things, just like the four elements, dance together and intermingle with each other. And so there's relationship to self. And, you know, I don't think we're going to journal. That would be fun to do, but then I think we need to spend more time practicing Reiki. So if we have time at the end of this seminar to journal a little bit, we can come back and journal with each one of these. But relationship to self is how we perceive ourselves, but also take care of ourselves. It's our self-care practice, our daily practice that we do. And when we take care of ourselves, we also take care of the environment around us, and it starts to change the way that the frequency in the air around us interacts with us, and then everything else on the other side of it too. So when it changes the environment, it starts to change those people connected to us. It starts to help their central nervous system calm down. Because you got to think about how integral the central nervous system is. When we practice Reiki on ourselves, we are calming that central nervous system. And our central nervous system is our antenna. That is where the electricity runs through our entire body. It's connected to the collective and everything around us. So that's why when someone walks into the room, your whole body feels it because their frequency is interacting with your frequency, which runs through your central nervous system. And then from there, echoes out into the rest of your body. So, how are we taking care of that central nervous system is our number one game changer. And Reiki is by far the easiest thing that I have found to throw at central nervous system problems, which is anxiety, depression, overwhelm. What practices do you use for inner wellness? What practices do you use? Do you ladies want to share? Let's share. What do you guys do for your like daily wellness practices? Let's make a daily wellness practices list. Melissa does Reiki every day. I do meditation every day. Darby, what do you do every day? I do lemon water every day too. Okay. Both of you don't unmute at the same time. I'm joking, of course. Okay, Melissa, throw one at me. What do you got?
I do lemon water. I also meditate every day, and I also do Kundalini yoga every day.
Ooh, Kundalini yoga. How long do you practice your yoga for?
Since it's kind of just a thing that I do every morning, about 15 minutes of the Kundalini, but it's enough to,
That's
to really
nice.
get into it with the mantra and the movements. So
That's cool. Darby, what about you? What do you do?
I meditate, and I also have a gigantic jug of water that I drink throughout the day, just like your lemon water.
Yeah, so you are super hydrating.
I hope so.
Yeah, well,
But
that's what I call it, super hydrating.
yeah, so my main focus is on my meditation, and that is it, which is fine. It's growing with time. I mean, at first I was like, oh, I'll just do it for 10 minutes, 15, 20, 30, but um, it's expanding.
Yeah,
But that's great because I'm learning more and more and more.
it sounds like all of us are pretty motivated to have self challenges. So I'm putting that in our practices too. Another thing that sometimes I do the flower essences, and I know Melissa, sometimes you do the flower essences. Um, yeah, meditation for me, Darby, is really important. It's kind of the base, and just like I would call Reiki a mixture of both meditation and Qigong. It meets those two practices in the middle and uses all of the knowledge from both of those practices to help heal the body. And so we should all be doing Qigong, honestly. I need to maybe we need to go back to that. What is that place we went to, Melissa? Oh, that guy was so good at teaching it.
the healing house,
Yes, I tell you what, he was a good teacher. Um,
he was awesome.
yeah. I wish they did online courses, but it's something that is easy to get into. Qigong is so widely available. The information is free. And even just doing like 3 to 5 moves a day is significant for health, for physical health. And so just like Reiki, the more Qigong you do, the better results you get in everything around you and that you're engaging with. So, um, Qigong is definitely something that's always been on my list and stays on my list. And because I have so many other like airy brain things on my list in front of it. All right. So here are daily wellness practices. I'm putting that in the chat. And then I can take a little screenshot of that at the end. So the relationship to yourself, what creates peace in your central nervous system, and Reiki for the central nervous system is effective when you're treated everywhere in the body, but especially the spine, the eyes, and the brain, because those are three direct sources to that central nervous system. The fingertips are also good to use. And so this is a good structure to create with your hands and flow that Reiki in through your fingertips. And sometimes you'll feel a little ball created within the cup of your hands. You can do, you can like put the symbol in your hands. You can also imagine the symbol running through your fingers when you create this. And you can then take your fingertips and put them on a piece of your, a different part of your body and feel a little bit more electricity running through too. And so it's a good charger, but it's also a good activity to do to keep the circuits in your entire body flowing, especially if you have blood pressure issues, right? So this is a good circuit channel clear. All right, relationship to others. How are you reacting and responding? So this is kind of a no-brainer and doesn't necessarily always relate to Reiki, but it relates to everything, and so does Reiki. So, how are you reacting and responding? Remember that our reactions are typically, almost all the time, are backed by fear, and our responses are backed by love. And so, if you find yourself reacting instead of responding, apply Reiki. The easiest thing to do and to get the fastest result is to apply it here to the heart. And then, the heart and the head as well together. It's always a great one. What are your actions, thoughts, and words teaching you, and what are they teaching the receivers? And that brings us to self-awareness and metacognition. These practices are the defenders of our still point state. Your still point state is that state that you can, much like the beta state, you can get into it through meditation, you can get into it through Reiki, and it's that place inside of you where everything is neutral. There's no judgment here, there's no judgment there, there's no value that you have placed on anything. And in that state, your cells can begin to vibrate the way that they vibrated in homeostasis before you were born, right, onto the planet. And that is when spontaneous healing begins. And that's great. That's what we want. So we want to get to that still point state, and being self-aware of your thoughts, which is metacognition, is how you can you learn how to get to still point, I think, through meditation and through healing, right? Through getting yourself into that state of deep contemplation, deep feeling, when you're really grounded in the body, but also very inward reaching. And you get to still point and all of the things just fall away. And when we get there, we can see the truth of everything. And when we can see the truth of everything, then our relationship to others is supported. And so there's the ripple effect, rippling out from the self. That ripples out into the environment. How do you create peace in your environment? And how do you respond to those disruptions? That's when you have to, that's why we practice the self-awareness, we practice the metacognition. And when we do those things consciously on a regular basis, almost like we're taking ourselves through school, or babysitting our thoughts, when we can get that down, then when we have to respond to a disruption in our energy field or our life, we can respond to it more calmly. And this is where distance Reiki really, really helps, because it's very hard to do that in the moment. And so if we haven't done it in the moment, we can always take distance Reiki back to when an event occurred and provide it some Reiki that way. And that starts to heal the symptoms that you're feeling in the now moment from that event too. Relationship to source is focused on how we are connecting. What are our daily practices to stay connected to our soul and to the light that shines down into our body, keeping our body running and the whole universe. What are your weekly practices? And so I listed some here: ceremony, prayer, outside time, meditation, sacred order, and Reiki practice. All of these things are great ways to connect. There was a time when I was doing ceremony like every day. And I quickly learned I didn't have the capacity to open circle to my ancestors every single day. And then once I learned that I didn't have to do that, I kind of like backed off a little bit. But it did help me get really used to the practices that resonated with me. So maybe if you wanted to do a ceremony cleanse, you could do, ceremony every day for a week and see what it leads you to, because it will definitely lead you. Okay, so distance healing. What questions or parts of distance healing would you ladies like to talk about? Nothing? No questions?
I guess I have a question.
Okay.
Is it okay to send a guide in and visualize that guide there in that space working on that person for you?
I would think so if you have the person's permission. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as long as you have permission, I think that there the the free will law, the universal law of free will keep anything out unless you have like written or verbal permission. So, yeah.
Well, if you have permission to perform distance Reiki,
Well, then that would be your permission. Yeah. So if
that's the
somebody's
permission because we can't
yeah.
control if we're in that and then one of our guides decides to step in and perform it, right? We can't control that, can we?
Well, yeah, you can. You can control that. But if they have given you permission and this is a way that you heal, I think as long as your people know what's going on, then it's fine. But most people that come to others for healing, they kind of know that that is what's going on. And that's why they come to you, right? And so, sometimes it happens because we've kind of like handed over a bit of permission to our guides because they're working in our higher interest, right? And so I
Hmm.
feel like if if a guide wants to step in on a Reiki treatment, I think the very first thing that you want to do is check in with your heart and your central nervous system. Like, is this an okay thing for my client? Would my client approve? If you don't know the client very well, um, then I would kind of this is I would take it slow so that you can go through the whole process of vetting the system, right? So what I mean by that is I would have your higher self or your guide check in with the higher self or the guides of the individual that you are treating. Because if there is a communal passage between those individual entities, then I would say that it is okay. And so that's how I would handle that. Because I don't, I think that it's okay. I'm not telling you that not to do it. Because it's going to happen anyway, because sometimes they do take over because they want to show us things, like we can learn a lot from them. And that's one of the reasons why they're working with us. So we can learn from them and we don't want to block that. And so I think, Melissa, if you get a feeling that you're working with somebody that would not be okay with you going outside of the normal medically realized sanctions of Reiki, then maybe don't do it. But I have a feeling that running into somebody who really just wants regular medically sanctioned Reiki and only that is a very, very slim chance. So maybe like
Okay.
1% of anybody that you're, working on. I think people are going to come to you and trust you and they're going to trust your process. And that's a part of the process. It happens. So yeah, I think that's a beautiful way to learn more about just energy healing in general. and how the energy body works because it's a very complicated system. And the more that we interact with these very, very trusted guides, the more we learn about ourselves. So just vet your guides, make sure that you have guides that you trust, and yeah, yeah. Always pay attention to how it feels in your central nervous system because your central nervous system will tell you when something is off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Darby, do you have anything?
Am I on?
You are.
Okay. Um, Thank you for that. I'm afraid I'll disappear again if I try to go find my mute on and off button.
Okay.
That's where I was before. Oh my gosh, I was everywhere. Um, but I mean, never mind. I do have, I believe, two things to address or questions, and Jamel, I wrote them down, and
Oh,
I'm
do
trying.
we?
I don't know what happened is I just completed a session, right? Like we started at 5:30. I've completed at 4:30. So I feel like I'm not fully back. Um,
Oh, so yeah. So just take a minute to center then. So close your eyes and put your hand on your solar plexus and take a deep breath. And when you exhale, I want you to imagine all of the pieces of yourself coming back into your body and just kind of suck them back in like a straw. So that'll help. But I hope that those questions come to your mind. Were they about distance Reiki?
well, I saw that that's what we were going to be addressing, and yes. But they've been questions I've had for a while, and I made a note. I thought, oh, this was a good time to find out about blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Um, so they're not. It's not like they disappeared into the vapor. They're
Yeah.
they're still there. They're just not showing themselves at this time. So I take it as it's not to be addressed at this time. It's not that
Yeah.
important.
Well, maybe they'll come up. I think that one of the most interesting things about distance Reiki is that when it was originally taught in the 20s in Japan, they recommended to only do it 15 minutes at a time and not go beyond 15 minutes. And that really contradicts the United States practice of Reiki because the practice of Reiki in the United States has become a bit commercialized. And so when people come to you for a Reiki session, they would typically prefer to have an hour of healing. And so I have never received less than an hour of Reiki or any other energy healing when I'm doing online sessions with other people and they're practicing on me. But however, that is the traditional recommendation to only give distance healing for 15 minutes. I think that if you're working on somebody with a really big thing, I think it would be interesting to engage in this type of practice to kind of experiment. So let's say somebody a couple states over, maybe a family member or a good friend, they have, because you don't want to just like do this on regular clients, because you don't want to experiment on people that people don't like that. But if you've got somebody that you could trust, you can, do 15 minutes at a time and maybe like every 2 hours go back in and do another 15 minutes of distance Reiki and see how that continual 15 minutes leads to progress with the ailment compared to giving like an hour of Reiki every week. I would be very interested to see the difference between that. So if anybody would like to engage in that, I think that that would be a really cool thing for us to practice here in this space, like little experiments like that, so we can really say to ourselves and say to other people who we're talking to about Reiki, like, this is what we've experienced. This is what our cohort has discovered in our practices. So if you guys are interested in that, then we can definitely talk about it. However, when we're working with distance healing, this is what we want to do. We want to decide on how we're going to do it. Now, there are some people who will use crystals. Um, to transmute and transfer the energy to the person on the other side, on the receiving side. There's also the teddy bear method where you've got like a stuffed animal in front of you, and um, most people will write the name of the receiver of the or the client or the loved one on a piece of paper and either put it underneath the stuffed animal or on top of the stuffed animal, and they will give the stuffed animal Reiki, and then at the end of the treatment, they'll send that healing to the individual on the piece of paper. There is the photo method where people will give Reiki to um, individuals via their photo. Let's see. Some people will just do it with a strip of paper with someone's name on it. There's also the personal witness method where you have not only a photo of someone, but a little bit of their DNA, which sounds kind of gross, but all it means is like they have taken this piece of paper, they've rubbed it across their forehead, and you can deliver Reiki that way. And that is by far the most effective way. Because working with someone's skin cells, I know it sounds kind of gross, but working with their skin cells that are still physically attached through the collective to their body is the fastest way to get the healing to them over distance. So, collecting a personal witness is one of the first things that I do to clients that I know I'm going to be working with online or with distance healing treatments. And that helps me to have something to deliver a treatment. So if they get a sinus infection and they can't leave the house, that's okay. I've got your personal witness. When you have a personal witness, it's important to keep it wrapped up in um, graph paper so that it doesn't leak its energy out, right? You want to get that really wrapped up in graph paper. And you can just ask your person, like, hey, will you take this little piece of paper, swipe it across your forehead, mail it to me, or give it to me the next time you see it, and I'll keep it in a special place. And if you ever want me to get rid of it, then I'll burn it for you. Just let me know because you don't want to like keep their cells on hijack if they don't, if you have somebody that has become like maybe uncomfortable with working with you or they've moved to another state and they want to work with somebody in person, then you can just burn it. You can also soak it in water, but it's just easier to burn it. It goes quicker. So you want to decide on the modality. How are you going to deliver the distance Reiki to the other person? Darby, how do you do it? What is your process?
I it was interesting to hear all that you shared. That real quick, the teddy bear, are they doing the Reiki on the teddy bear or okay, okay.
They
What
are.
I do is I have my Reiki setting, a gentle Reiki music playing, candles lit. I ask the client if they would like any music or scents. And I recommend that they choose their preference. So if they want some music playing in their background, then put it on. If they want a candle scented, put it on. I like to work with that. So I will have my lights dimmed and I will have music on and a scent a candle a candle playing. Um, and then I have a um oh, I just call it my spatial Reiki throw. And my client is laying down. I either use my couch or my pool recliner. It depends on where we're doing it. So they're laid down, and I've asked them ahead of time to bring a pillow, a knee support for their knee, put socks on, have a throw in case they get cold, and then so I have my copy of them in front of me, and it's like I'm mirroring them. They're
Yeah.
over there on the couch with with their knees up and the Reiki magic Reiki blanket on,
Mhm.
and then I use my selenite stick. I've got a really large one I love, and I use that a lot with brushing my client. But once I have them settled and I said a prayer over them with setting the intention, then I start from the crown and work down. And wherever I run into a blockage, then that's where I focus. Like this afternoon, I had a big blockage on the right shoulder. And I found, well, anyways, I let spirit guide me as to where the most healing is needed. But I address the whole body. And if I get stopped or hit a speed bump, that's where I stop, and then I address that.
Mhm.
Um, and that's what I do.
Yeah, that's what I do too. I like your projection idea. I've also done that. I've also had like my Reiki table up and I've put something on that table and it kind of sounds like something similar to what you're doing because I'm like imagining that they are, in front of me. And so when we're doing that, we're transmuting their spirit body in front of us to receive it. And depending on your intention, you can let them receive it now in their now moment. That's what I do. I say, let them receive it in their now moment. I have had some people like send it to me when they're done. And I couldn't really tell the difference because we were talking during the entire appointment. So
Well, what I do is I send it to them in the now. I'm doing it. I'm healing it as I address it, as I
yeah.
find it. I heal it, and then. But I wish I could figure out what was making that noise. I'm glad it's not bothering you.
Yeah, we can't hear it.
So I'm addressing it in the now, and then when we're done, especially with the distance healing, um, I will I will while I'm doing this all, I've done it on mute. We've connected, and then I've done it on mute. And then when I'm completed, then I unmute and I hang up. And I tell them ahead of time that not to worry about the time, that I'll mind the time. And they just need to focus on relaxing and, not, don't, just whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And so, in case they want to fall asleep, don't worry about not falling asleep.
Yeah, that's what
And,
I
and
love about distance healing because you can just let
yeah,
them continue to sit in the healing energy.
right.
Yeah.
And I tell them ahead of time that sometimes when I've healed an area, just like today, I where these analogies come from, I have no idea. But they come while I'm working on the individual. And today I it was she's getting her oil changed, and just like you when you take the old oil out, there's a matter of time for it to loosen up and for it to leak out. And then when you put the new oil in, it takes a matter of time for it to work its way through the system, replacing all the areas of the old oil.
Yes.
And because of that, I may have treated the right shoulder and it's relieved it, but um, the emphasis on it may not, she may not feel it till tomorrow morning
Hmm.
or tonight before she goes to bed.
I have also noticed that with online treatments as well. That there is a bit of a delayed effect.
Yeah. And then I'll say one more thing. And then now this is where I need to wheel myself in. At the end, I disconnected the line, and then I've left it that if they want to know, if they want to review, or they want to know if whatever came up, or they want to share with me what came up, to give me a call. And
Yeah.
it doesn't have to, in case they fall asleep, it doesn't have to be right then, but not the next month.
Right.
And they'll call, and then I review with them what, like the oil change,
Hmm.
and then they also share with me what they encountered. So I like that. This one
Yeah.
today, really, she encountered a lot that I actually found amazing. But so that was
Good.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is good.
yeah,
Very
yeah,
cool. I love that process. I like how detailed you are at setting your space up too. And I like how detailed you are at going through the process with your client, because that's an important thing to remember, to set your client up for success so that they're just not thrown in. I know that a couple of times I've just like gotten into the studio and we're just like doing
Yeah.
Reiki, and if it's a new person, they're like, "Whoa, what's going on?"
Yeah.
So yeah, like you
Well,
have to take your time.
one I had worked on yesterday, and I thanked her because it called attention to me that, not everybody knows what I know. And even if they were on the same path, they haven't experienced it like I've experienced. So
Exactly. Yeah.
this client is a big chiropractic client.
Yeah.
And I know she's used to, because she talks about seeing him for her shoulder, and he'll work on it, and then she can either at the time that he's working on it, or like when she's leaving his office, she can feel that her shoulder's all healed or it's all better. And I told her, I said, this isn't exactly like that. You may feel a tingling, and it may be it's been addressed, but the full healing of it, it's not going to be like instantly.
It's
It's
not.
gonna
Yeah.
take some time.
It
So
comes out in
I
layers
never,
too.
yeah, I never thought about the client looking for the relief like instantly, like you do
Oh
at the
yeah.
chiropractor. So
Yeah.
I thought that's a good point that I
It
need to
it
address.
Yeah, it is helpful to address that, because a lot of people who've never had Reiki are always going to equate it to a massage and a chiropractor
Right,
appointment. And
right.
there are some other really weird modalities out there. Like I saw one of my friends texted me that there's a modality out there where you have your client hanging in a hammock and you're like just giving them like a finger massage down their back
Oh.
and down their bottom and down their legs. And so, it's like you have to describe what it's doing, because there's, people don't know what they don't know. So yes, okay. So after you decide on the modality of how you're going to deliver the Reiki, then set up your space. And you can do that in any way. Darby did a really good job of explaining how she does it. She sets up her space much like we set up space here in class and in Sacred Rhythms as well. So set up your space according to how you do that. There's no wrong way to set up your space. As long as it is heart driven, then you're good to go. And then you want to set up your protections, because if you're doing a distance treatment online, you really want to make sure that the line is clear and protected of anything that can make its way in. And that sounds a little bit nefarious, but energy is energy, and it can find any kind of source that it needs in order to balance itself. And so we want to make sure that the channel that we have between us and the receiver is both strong and just filled with light so that nothing can get in. And there's a lot of different ways that you can do that. I think the best way to figure out how to set up your protections is to go into meditation and find out what your body tells you. I think you should do that first before you ask anybody else how to set up protections, because your body is always going to know what it needs before anybody else's um, advice gets into you. And then from there, then start to seek out other ideas. And you can look online, you can talk to your friends, you can go get a healing from somebody who is like really good at protections. There's a lot of different ways you can do that, but I definitely suggest, if you have never before checked in with your body to see how it wants to be protected, then do that, because it can definitely guide you to some tremendous things. Okay, so once you have set up your protections, you deliver treatment, and you can go for 15 minutes, you can go for an hour. Um, I know that during Reiki clinic, I will go for anywhere between 20, like it's usually about 20-25 minutes, because I'm updating the list and everything. But sometimes I have done 15 minutes, and I check in with the individuals that come every time to Reiki clinic, and they have not noticed a difference between the difference in time. So I have checked that. And that was kind of interesting and, just some data. When you're done doing the treatment, you want to close space. So thank the people, the entities, the energies that have come and helped you. Thank Reiki and say that I close this space or I close this treatment. And I close my space in the light and then I'm done. And then you can, now when I'm doing distance Reiki, I do the same thing that Darby does. I let them go and I end it and then they contact me later for a check-in. You don't have to do that. It depends on your client. Your client may not want you to do it that way. So that's why it's important to have a conversation before you begin on how the whole process of the treatment, the online treatment or the distance treatment is going to go. If you're not doing online treatment, you can still give distance Reiki. Just check in with your person. Say, I'm starting now. You could stay on the phone, of course. If you don't want to stay on the phone, if they don't want to do that, text them. This is what I've done a couple times. I've texted them to say I'm starting, and then I'll text them when I'm done. And then we will engage in a phone conversation or a texting conversation to go over the details of what came up in the treatment.
And
So,
I've done that as well. I guess I
oh,
I wasn't thinking spiraling out. I was singular about seeing the person, but
yeah,
they don't have to be there for me to do it.
right, right.
But usually I prefer, I mean, well, no, I usually prefer to have them. I don't know. I
I
would
don't,
prefer to have them there, but I have had distance healing where I've told him, at 10 o'clock, I'm going to start your session.
mhm,
And then, they don't know. They go about their day, whatever. Or I mean, they don't mind the time. They just do whatever. And then I'll talk to them afterwards or text about what uncovered or what I ran into and
yeah,
if they ran into anything. But
yeah.
so,
I've done it that way too. Have you
and
ever
I,
had anyone that got tired after your session doing it that way?
not that they've shared, no.
Okay.
I've also done animals.
I've done a lot of animals over distance too.
Yes, yeah. And those I set a time and I do them.
Yeah.
Um, I don't, they're not all, a funny thing is, if don't have quiet space on the main floor, then I'll go to the basement with my tanning chair. Or not my tanning chair, but the chair I take to the beach.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and I will do everything on that chair, moving over the chair. And I've got the magic Reiki blanket on top of the chair. And my inevitably, oh my gosh, every time my husband shows up. And it's always like, and I'm always like, yeah, I bet this does look really strange.
I've run into that problem before. You got to do what you got to do to get the
Yeah.
thing done.
I'm like, and sometimes I'll put a note on the basement door, session in progress.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he'll act like he didn't see the note or doesn't know what it means, which he probably doesn't. But anyways, I was just sharing that because it always happens. But it's good training for me because I have to keep that out of my focus, turn that off.
Yes, yes. No matter what's going on around you, if you can hold that focus, then the treatment doesn't really get compromised. And I did a treatment today, and my daughter called me 3 times, which is the
Oh,
emergency code, and so it interrupted the appointment. And
oh,
it was not an emergency. She wanted to know if she could have a pet rat. And
oh,
and so I had to interrupt the session to turn the call off and I hopped right back in. And so it's like, once it's going, a small interruption isn't going to be that big of a deal, at least in my experience. But yeah,
right,
it's
right.
so funny how things like, that's a cycle. So your husband must need some Reiki. I know mine does. Okay, so then at the end we space. But now we get to practice. So I've got the big symbol here, which is our distance symbol. And when you're practicing, you want to do that one first when you're practicing distance Reiki to initiate that distance channel. But how would you ladies like to practice tonight? Um, let's see. Last time we gave Darby Reiki. So this time we could give Melissa Reiki, or we could choose somebody else that needs some Reiki that we know has our permission to give them Reiki, and we could all three work on a different individual. Especially if we had an animal that needed something. So what
I
would
tell
you
you,
ladies want to do?
I just want to tell Melissa, last time you guys worked, was it my throat? My
It was a sinus.
right. Oh, that's right.
Sinuses, yeah.
This sinus and headache. That's right. It was amazing. I mean, amazing. It was like the best margarita I've ever had. I mean, it just, absolutely, the next day and even later that night, it just was gone. And I kept waiting. I'm like, oh, this is a trick. It's going to be right back. No, it was awesome. And it never came back.
That's
And
awesome.
That protocol you came up with is amazing because I've used it on other people and it's amazing. It really works well.
Yeah. What was that protocol? I don't remember. That was the headache
It was like
protocol,
the
wasn't it?
heart and liver at the same time, and then the forehead and the
yeah,
heart. And
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was amazing. I wish maybe you can share that one. Not right now, but
Didn't I write that down on a piece of paper and give it
yeah,
to
I still have
everybody?
it. I keep it posted when I do it on somebody.
Oh, where is it? Do you have it, Melissa?
It's upstairs. I can go grab it.
Yeah, go grab it because then I can put it in our Reiki seminar classroom online.
All
And we
right,
can
just a
just
minute.
collect them. We'll have a collection of them. I wrote that
oh,
down.
good.
Um, where did I wonder if I used the Hayashi manual or if I just channeled that one in. I'll have to check the manual real quick to see if sometimes I'll use it directly from the manual. Do you have a copy of that, Darcy or Darby? Sorry, geez.
Of yours?
No, the
I don't
Hayashi.
have either of you. Oh, yeah, I do.
Um, yeah, the Hayashi one is that's just free online, but there's
How do you want me to send that to you, Jamel?
oh here, just say it. Just say it out loud. I'm writing it down.
All right, temples, forehead, back of the head, liver, heart and forehead, heart and liver, legs, feet and palms.
Heart and liver, legs, feet and palms. Yeah, I channeled that one in. That was not from the manual. Sorry, guys. I need to be teaching you the ones from the manual too. We'll cover it, I promise. Okay, I will put that in our notes. Headache treatment. You know what? I'm not going to put it in our notes here because then I won't be able to format it right, but I'll put it in our classroom. Okay, so let's get back on track. How would we like to do Reiki? Melissa, do you want some Reiki tonight?
We can do it on somebody else if you want.
Okay,
That
because
way I
you'd
can get
rather
the practice
practice. You
too.
want to practice
Yes.
in. Okay, so that's headache treatment. Let me label that correctly so I don't forget what I'm doing here. Um, let's see. Darby, would you like to receive or would you like to practice?
I will receive
Okay.
um for that damn overwhelm.
Oh, for the overwhelm. Okay.
Hmm.
So let's go back to the chat because I put that in there. So Melissa, we're going to work on overwhelm. And let me get this.
I mean, if
Oh,
it's
that's
okay for me to
perfectly fine.
And
Absolutely.
Melissa, sometime we're gonna work on you.
Okay.
It's not always gonna be me.
No, it's fine. I'm trying to work on getting some training hours in, so
Head and-
Oh, okay. Oh,
Okay,
good. Yeah, that does work out perfect then.
so we're gonna do first the head and the heart. And since there's two of us, Melissa,
mhm.
why don't we're gonna imagine that Darby's body is in front of us, and we're gonna work from, let's see, I'll work from the right side of her body, and you
Okay.
work from the left side of her body. So in front of you, you're gonna imagine her head is over by your right hand, and her legs is over by your left hand. And for me,
Okay.
so at the beginning, um, why don't we, like, one will go to the head, one will go to the feet, and then we'll do the head and the heart, and then we'll do the heart and the sacrum. And overwhelm, gosh, overwhelm gets stuck in the gut. So we'll do the head and the gut. So this will be a four-step process. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right. Let me get some music going. So Darby, you sit back and relax and get ready to
Oh,
proceed. Okay. Let me get that screenshot before we end. Oh, and you know what? It's 6:30. Okay, so we're running late. So Darby, when we're done with the treatment, we're gonna do what you talked about. We're just going to let the treatment go. And I'm
okay.
gonna log off. And then
Okay.
in the classroom, I think I can set up a chat. And so I'll work on that, on getting that set up tonight. So then you can get in that chat and tell us how you felt. And let's see, what else? Housekeeping. Okay, so,
Oh,
oh,
I thought about that. That's probably why we're late. So I've been talking. Um, After we had the attunement, the reattunement, and oh, now I want to say meatball, pasta, mozzarella, the
oh, the
guy.
pasta guy. Yeah, uh-huh. Yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
he was with us.
yes.
Um,
And he was
I
planning
was
on coming tonight, but his mom just had hip surgery. And so he's with her.
oh
Her hip surgery was today. So
oh
everybody can,
gosh.
yeah.
So like in my messages, I have a couple chats set up with people that it like that are we're a group that we usually talk together about a specific subject. Oh, if we had one of those set up, do you know what I'm talking about?
Um,
Like where
are
you
you
sent
are you
the
talking
text
about,
message.
yeah, so are you talking about the Reiki class, or are you talking about the metaphysical group?
Oh, I'm sorry. I Yeah, this might not be practical at all then. I was talking about like my work at with the hospice group. There
Oh,
is a link. I have them set up as a circle, and if somebody has a comment or a question, it shows up there. And so that somebody has said something or asked something, so then I know to go click on that circle to find out what the question is or what the comment is. And I was thinking if we had that same
oh,
scenario set up.
I can set that up. Okay, so hold on. Let me tell you what to download, and I'll get that set up tonight because this will be the easiest way to do it. We can do it on an app. And
Okay.
so so it's called Spaces by Wix. And before you download it, if you can, it looks like this. It's just boring and blue and it says Spaces by Wix. Sorry, you can't see it. It's kind of blurry. Uh,
Okay.
let me try again. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. It's the one, right. Oh, I keep accidentally touching my screen.
Well, oh,
It's that one
um,
down here in the bottom.
okay, hold on. And I'm gonna, Melissa, I'm sorry. I know you want to just kill me.
No,
Um,
you're fine. You're fine.
So I'll create a
uh,
group called Reiki Seminar on that app. And I will put, so in the classrooms, this is what you're going to receive. You're going to get an email inviting you to the Reiki Seminar classroom on my website. And you're going to have to log in to get there. And in that classroom, I'll have instructions so that you can download that app. So then we can chat back and forth. And the like if there's a login on the app, it's going to be the same as your login for my website. Does that make sense? Oh, Darby, you muted yourself. I sent you a button.
okay. I
Okay.
took a picture. I took a picture of what I was trying to explain, but now
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know how. But now I don't know how to get it over here. How to
It
show you?
it won't let you upload a picture into the chat on Zoom. But you
Okay.
can text it to me. You can always just like regular text it to me.
Okay, I'll go do that right now. So you can open it and see what in the heck I'm talking about. It's
Yeah,
driving me
yeah, show
crazy
it to
that I
me.
can't explain it.
Um, I I could we could also do a WhatsApp group, but I would rather do it on Spaces Wix because it's more private and the data is more secure because it's running through my website instead of WhatsApp. Um, so
I've heard some things about WhatsApp, so I'm good on not using it.
me as well. Sad things. So yeah, I'll get that set up.
Right.
And
Yeah.
once you download it, I don't even remember having to log in. I don't remember. But once you download it, it'll be easy. And then we'll have our own. You'll be able to get on the app and you'll be able to access the classroom on the app and the chat. So it'll just be
Okay.
so automatic. Yeah, I can definitely do that. And that's exciting because I don't really get to use that feature of my website. And so this is a good opportunity for me. So I thank you guys for letting me explore this. Letting
So
it,
you're going to send us a link.
yes, yes. I'm going to eat. The
Okay.
first thing you're going to get is an email with instructions.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. And here's some music. So the first thing we're going to do, Melissa, is go ahead and ignite Hanshize Shonen in your palms. And I'm going to call in the Reiki masters. And I'm going to call in my guides and my archangels for protection along the stream between myself and Melissa and Darby. And we ask tonight that this Reiki energy travel directly from Source Healing Direct into Darby as we project her energy and her essence and her body in front of us to deliver Reiki healing to her. So, Melissa, the first thing we'll do is I'll have you go to the feet, Melissa, to ground Darby into the earth, and I'll go to the head this time. And we'll just open up that channel that runs all the way down Darby's body. And we ask to be hollow, clean currents of energy, that any energy of our own that is used in this treatment be restored and replenished in real time, and that this energy be delivered and felt and received by Darby in her now moment in real time. And we're here to treat Darby and all of her layers for overwhelm, to relieve the symptoms of overwhelm. And so now, Melissa, I'm going to invite you as you are down at Darby's feet. If you'd like to say anything out loud or to yourself as you open up your process, you can go ahead and do that. All right. So the next thing that we're going to do is work on the head and the heart. So I'm going to put one hand on the third eye and the other on the heart. And Melissa, you do the same. And we're going to keep our hands here at these two spots for about 2 minutes. We ask that this energy deliver to Darby in her now moment, relieving overwhelm and calming the central nervous system. Okay, now we're going to move our hands, one over the heart and another over the sacrum. So Darby, this should be a pretty powerful infusion, getting it from two different places at the same time. And let's go ahead and move to the head and the gut. So we'll put one hand on the head and then the other on the stomach in between the sacrum and the solar plexus. So now, Melissa, we need to clear the heart, but we also want to clear the gut because anxiety lives in gut imbalances. So, Melissa, why don't you go to the head and I'll stay at the gut, at the stomach area. Okay, and now we're going to do the leg. So I'll do the right leg, Melissa, and you do the left leg. Okay, and then we'll do the feet and the hands. Melissa, why don't you do the left side and I'll do the right side on the feet and the hands, and let's do the hands first. Melissa, how is that left hand doing over there?
Fine.
There's a lot of heat in this right one.
Oh, there's a lot of heat in the left one too.
Let's keep working on these hands for a little bit longer then. All right, let's move to the feet. Okay. And let's go ahead and return back to Gasho and thank the guides and masters for assisting us in this treatment. And we thank Darby for coming to the table. And we're going to draw that lightning bolt to signify that we are closing our healing circle. And we close this circle in the light. Okay. We are all done. Darby, are you still present with us?
I am.
Okay.
I am.
How are you feeling?
Well, I don't want to move yet.
Okay.
I'm,
Then don't
I'm
move.
laying down in my position. But let's see. I'm much calmer, and everything is my uh, my cellular system seems to be moving smoother. I did not recognize that it was not, but now, I mean, that it really wasn't moving, but now I feel it in my arms and down my back. So
Good.
that, yeah, and I can visually see that going like down a spiral.
Very good. Um, let's see. I noticed that you were holding some heat in your hips, or at least on your right hip, and then a little bit in your lower right back, and then in the hands. Melissa, notice the hands. Melissa, did you notice anything else?
There was something with the left foot, but nothing like the hands.
Yeah, the hands were very hot. Um, from the hands, I got overwork, but it wasn't like overwork like you're pushing yourself. It was just you just work a lot and you have a lot of energy doing work, whatever work you're doing. And it's the right hand at least did not seem to be clogged, but it was just holding debris. And I think it's like kind of acting as a filter, your hands. But Melissa, did you get anything else from it?
To me, the left hand is almost like it was trying to hold a lot. So almost like the overwhelm that we're discussing, but it was in the hand.
So that might be something to reflect on then, Darby. What are you holding on to that you can let go of? That's what I would move forward with. Uh,
And that, yes, okay.
yeah, okay, so it's 7 o'clock. I'm gonna wrap it up, but let me turn this wonderful shaman music off. Just for housekeeping, we meet next time, February 16th. And you've got my Venmo link, Darby. If you need a different link, let me know.
Yeah,
And
it didn't work.
oh,
So I
darn it.
was,
Okay, I'll send you
yeah,
something
it,
different.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. Yeah, I tried to get, but yeah, didn't go
Okay.
anywhere.
And I've got a
So,
copy of the Reiki 1, but I have to order another. I know I might have a copy of Reiki 2 in the basement. And so don't try to find it on Amazon because I did the publishing process incorrectly. So, but I will
okay,
see you guys on February 16th. On
okay,
February 15th, we're doing a sound bath. And then in March, I'm going to start a monthly meditation group that I'm going to stack on top of seminar. So if you want to come
good.
and practice some specific energy healing meditation modalities, then you can come and participate in that. And then also do seminar, and then you kind of just get it all done at the same time. So, okay. So I will get that group set up, and then we can just text back and forth in that group, and that'll be where we meet and talk shop.
Okay,
Right,
that
sounds
sounds
good.
great.
Okay.
It was good to see you again, Darby.
Yes,
Oh, you
isn't it?
too. You
It's so
too.
nice to I love our little group here. And I hope that Jay gets to come next month. He's excited about coming. I think he's probably more willing to come if we're online because he's in Kansas City. So it might be
Yeah.
something we want to think about. But at the same time, I think sometimes we do need to meet at least sometimes in person to,
Yeah.
get a good mix of the modalities. So I'll see you guys in a month and I'll talk to you soon.
All
All
right.
right,
You
thank
guys
you.
take, bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.